Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 193 of KT Confidential. Today, Ariel and I are talking coach houses, but we decided to call them garden villas. And recently in Toronto, they've been permitted, so we are talking about them and the new bylaws. Enjoy. Garden suites.
Garden suites.
Yeah, they've been approved in Toronto.
So what does that mean?
Well, the province, I don't know if they've mandated it or they've set a date, perhaps, where everybody needs to get up to speed on doing these things. But there's obviously a need for intensification, increasing population, building more homes on less land, and having more options for affordable real estate and more rentals.
So a buddy of mine, he's got a property
Yep.
in downtown Toronto,
Okay.
near the Danforth,
Right.
and it's a semi-detached home.
Okay.
The front of the home, obviously, you have your main street that's your address, is that street. And then he's got a long lot, a deep lot, big backyard.
Okay.
At the end of the backyard is another street. It's like a laneway.
So you park in the back?
Yes.
Okay.
He's been thinking about building a separate, like a garage and then an apartment over
Okay.
top.
Yeah.
But that's different than what we're talking about now, because that
Well,
has a street going right to it. This is talking about building a little cabin in your backyard, basically.
Yeah, I don't know how it would be. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a lot of requirements, so that would be a unique one. I don't know how that would be. But one is you can do 2 stories. You are allowed to do
In your
2
backyard?
stories. You're allowed to have a 2-story coach home in Toronto. There are requirements.
Toronto.
There are requirements.
Man in Toronto.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I fell asleep through it. But it wasn't bad.
It actually, did you hear about how it went viral and everybody in Toronto was pissed off that they kept saying Toronto,
Yeah.
Toronto?
Yeah. Well, he also said, "Hey, I'm here."
It was an awful movie.
He said, "I'm here in Milton, Toronto," when he was here doing social
Oh,
posts.
Milton, Toronto?
Milton, Toronto. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, you're allowed 2 stories and a basement. I don't know if it's feasible.
So
or
you can build
a house,
a
little house
in your backyard.
Yes. I don't know if it
Interesting.
makes sense to have the basement, but
Would you do it?
yeah, sure.
You would?
Yeah, my buddy in Victoria has one. He rents it out for $2,000 a month.
Okay, so legally, is the property being subdivided?
No. You're just now allowed to have 2 dwellings on the one property.
So what would you? Okay, so let's say you have a 50 by 120 lot,
Okay.
good size lot,
Okay.
and now I build this, whatever the hell you want to call it, garden suite.
Let's call it a villa, garden villa.
Sure. You
Yep.
build your garden villa in the back.
Right.
It's got a basement. It's 2 stories. It's really nice. Who uses the backyard? You're sharing a backyard?
Sure. Or if it's a big enough backyard.
So I'm out there in my underwear grilling sausages,
Yeah.
and you're in your garden villa
Yeah.
watching me in my underwear grill my sausages
Yeah.
in my own backyard.
Sure.
That's fucking weird.
Why?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
What if you have a condo and you have open balcony? Somebody's
would-
next to you on your balcony.
Now I could see it if you put up a fence.
I think most people would. They would put foliage or a fence or privacy screen of some sort,
Right. So
and give everybody their own space.
you make the design of it like it's 2 lots.
Yeah. Or
I
maybe
understand.
you're doing it for the purpose of,
In-laws?
yeah. Yeah.
How would you feel if your in-laws were living in your backyard?
I would have a big fence so everybody had their own space. But, you know, there are a lot of people. I know people now that they say they want to have, like, you know, one of our neighbors, a couple doors down from you, she would love to have a house where her dad could live on the property too. Now that municipalities are starting to permit it, it's actually more feasible. Whereas before, you know, good luck getting an approval for that. Nobody would let you do it.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea. But I think it's a good idea for many reasons. More affordable homes, and like it subsidizes the cost pretty substantially, your monthly expenses. Provides more rental options.
Sure.
In, you know,
probably in high demand areas too, right?
Well, that's it. Like most people in Toronto can't afford to rent a house per se, so they're all stuck in condos. But now they can get a small house in an area that they had no chance of renting in before. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Personally. Well,
I'm torn. I don't think I would do it personally, but
well, I think it depends on
your life situation and
yeah. If you found that the space was being wasted, you were never in your backyard.
Right.
And
yeah, there's some people that don't even want maintenance of a backyard. So
maybe you rent it out and give the whole backyard to the person.
Yeah.
And then they maintain it and pay you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now,
how would parking be affected there?
That'll vary from, so I read in Toronto, I don't know why you care how I say it, but in Toronto.
Were you born in the GTA?
I used to say Toronto, and now I pronounce it more clearly. But
because you live in Milton.
Milton. In Toronto.
What cartoon or TV show was Milton?
That was a character?
Yeah. Simpsons?
No, it wasn't Milton. It was Millhouse.
No, there's a Milton somewhere.
I don't know.
Anyway, somebody listening or watching will know what I'm talking about.
The answer is Toronto doesn't require that you have any additional parking.
So, well, I guess in Toronto, then there are definitely more people that don't have a car.
Right. But in Toronto, you don't really need a car. In Hamilton, you have to have 3 legal parking spaces. Guelph, I don't know.
Is there anywhere else? Any surrounding?
Sorry, actually, Hamilton, I'm speaking of, I don't believe Hamilton permits it, period. But I think they're going to. That's the discussion I read.
Building the
They don't
villa?
allow the garden suite or whatever we were calling it. Garden villa. They don't allow those yet, but I believe they will be soon.
Should trademark that.
Yes. But one neat thing, too, if you're buying for investors who are buying, you get a lot of people who want duplexes or an accessory apartment. Now you can have your house. You can have a legal basement apartment and a garden villa. So
it'd be great for first-time buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. Rent out your basement, rent out the backyard.
Yeah.
Probably covers all the carrying costs or close to.
If you're a contractor right now and you either specialize or know how to build homes and you want to capitalize on this opportunity, I would take my business if I was a contractor.
That's all I do.
Exactly. Specialize in that. Like you come up with a sub-brand within your brand and develop a whole business model revolving around garden villas.
Yeah. Well,
you'll be booked for years.
I can't remember where it is. San Francisco, maybe somewhere in the States where they allow it also. But they also have a selection of pre-approved designs. So as long as your house works, you don't even
kind of like cottage log homes and stuff, right?
Yeah, like you can automatically build this specific style without needing to go through all the motions of whatever.
Yeah, buying it just on design. How long? I don't know if you'll remember. Your memory sucks. But you remember I talked about tiny homes being a trend?
Yes.
This could be the start of that.
I remember the whole conversation.
Oh, do you?
I remember the podcast. It wasn't that the one where I talked
What
about...
episode was it?
One...
You gonna take a stab at it?
80... I was actually just about to say that, so Florency just told me, but I was literally going to say 185. It was the one just before I did one with Sylvia.
So...
Right? No. Damn it.
This could really be the start of... Because think about it. A lot of the properties are not going to be able to accommodate a big house.
Right.
As this coach house or whatever. So they're going to be small little bungalow or something, right?
Yeah. So Toronto, their size restriction is 645 square feet.
Oh, there is a restriction.
Yeah, they always do. So it could be done a number of different ways. Like it could be a percentage of...
I should read your blog.
You should. It can be a percentage of the property.
Right.
So
like the lot area.
Yeah, like the lot coverage permitted in general might be like maybe 20% for the primary residence. And now that's been increased to, let's say, 30%.
Right.
With the other structure. So then depending on how big the original one was, that could dictate what the size of the new one is. And there's obviously going to be setback requirements. Like in Toronto, they were saying it has to be 5 meters back from the house and 1.5 meters in from the rear property line.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's 2 stories, it has to be 7.5 meters back from the house. So that's quite far. Like not every, even though all residential zones will qualify, not every house is going to qualify.
Right.
Or every property.
Now, if I bought a shipping container and turned that into...
I would think so.
Would that qualify?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we should start buying shipping containers and...
So where are we going to store them?
On vacant land somewhere. I'm sure we could rent some vacant land.
Yeah. That's a good idea. We could actually buy the shipping containers and rent them. Rent the shipping containers out until they're sold as storage units.
Now you're thinking.
Yeah. We just have a clause in the contract that says we can cancel your rental agreement anytime.
Take it a step further. You don't sell the shipping container, you lease it.
Yeah, people buy houses on leased land. Maybe they will lease a house on owned land.
Right.
Right. We're on to something.
Ha-ha!
Except there's no shipping containers available.
Right. Find the boat in China somewhere.
Yeah. Anyways, there was a bit of controversy about the topic because some people said, "Oh, now you're going to bog down the parking situation. It's already bad, or you're going to make our city the slums." But I think it could be quite the opposite. Like my buddy in Victoria, he has a $2 million really nice home and a really nice coach home in the backyard. He actually told me a funny story. I'm not going to... Hopefully nobody watches this, but I'll tell the story.
What do you mean, hopefully nobody watches this?
I mean, nobody...
The whole purpose of this is so people watch it.
Nobody that knows him. And we can't make any clips of this because you will see that. But he told me once that
Well, I know who you're talking about, so I'm going to make sure he's watching.
He told me once, his tenant is weird. Like he never sees him. He comes out like once a month in his pajamas and gets like food delivered. I don't think he speaks English particularly well. He's a student or something. And he hadn't seen the guy for a long time. I think for a couple months. And it was leading into the winter and it started to get really cold, like freezing temperatures. And the guy's windows were open and he wasn't closing them. So as a landlord, you have a right to go in. So he provided notice and went in. And he found the windows were open. It was near freezing temperatures inside the house. The guy had left and gone overseas. And when he was in there, he found like just the whole place was full of sex toys. Like little...
What is with you and the sex toys?
I don't know. Well, apparently more people are into it than we would have thought. But like he found like miniature sex dolls.
This is the 1960s where it's like faux pas.
Yeah, true. But he found all these weird things.
And it was just a guy living there on his own?
Yeah. And then he wrote to him. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I left the window open. If you go in, don't mind the stuff you find. It's for work.
It's for work.
For work. Something, I could be maybe confusing the story a bit, but I'm pretty sure to within a close degree of accuracy, that's correct.
Maybe he's like a OnlyFans videographer or something.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyways. And so then he started to get concerned. He's like, well, this is kind of creepy, this guy in my backyard, right?
Sure.
So then but I'm like, well, you never know what anybody's doing. So you evict him, whatever, and then bring somebody else in. You don't know what they're using the property for, and that's
right.
the risk you take. I mean, he's the ideal tenant.
So everybody always asks me, why don't you rent your cottage out? Like, it would do well on Airbnb. This is why.
Well, you change the sheets when you go and use it yourself. Of course.
Okay. What about the couch? What about the bathroom? What about the kitchen counter?
What about the hotel you go to?
Oh, I'm not disagreeing.
It's no different.
Like, you go to an all-inclusive vacation, do not take a black light with you.
I'm going to do that next time.
No, you won't.
Alicia will never go on vacation again.
Oh, she'll pack up and leave.
Yeah.
I bought one.
Really?
I bought one beginning of COVID to make sure I'm getting like all of the germs and, whatever.
At your house?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Well, what? I don't think I'm alone in that, am I?
Maybe.
I don't know. So and I've always wanted one just for.
You see the new Dyson vacuums have that light that helps you see the
laser light or
laser
whatever.
light that helps you see stuff.
Like
similar.
What's the purpose of that? You think it's the first time a vacuum has had a light?
No, but it's a light that specifically, I'm sure,
detects dirt.
First of all, I'm not trying to like sell it. I actually hate Dyson.
Why?
I think they're way overpriced. Mine's a piece of shit.
Buy a new one.
The plastic falls apart. The battery doesn't last long. Garbage.
How long have you had it?
This happened early on.
Well, why didn't you call them and say this thing's a piece of shit? Maybe they would have replaced it.
Because I don't want another one.
I have the newest one, or now not this one with the light, but the previous new one.
Okay.
The thing's an animal. It's a beast.
Literally, they're actually called the Animal. They have one called the Animal. Were you being literal?
No.
Oh.
It's like the V15 or I don't know what it is, but it's got this beautiful stand and all kinds of accessories so you can do the stairs nicely, like with this little motorized
Is it wireless?
thing for this. Yeah, cordless, yeah.
Okay. Is the battery removable?
I don't think so.
I found a hack that I'm going to try.
It lasts.
Yeah.
Like my house with the basement is probably, I don't know, 3,500 square feet. I can do the whole house on one charge.
See, mine won't get through one floor.
That's because you have to replace batteries.
Yes, but it's always been that way. But I found a hack. You can get an adapter. So my power tools, I have lots of power tools, lots of batteries.
I have lots of power tools.
Yeah. And you can buy an adapter that hooks into it, and you can use that. I did it with...
well, they have battery packs that you can add on.
Well, no, mine is like an enclosed system. So it's not intended to be replaced.
No, but there is aftermarket. I don't know if Dyson makes it, but I've seen the aftermarket ones. You know, the input where you would plug the adapter into.
Yeah.
So there's a battery pack. It's like a piggyback, and it plugs into that. And now you've got double battery.
Interesting.
So it makes it heavy and probably awkward, I'm guessing. I don't know. I've never tried it. But I know what you're saying. I have one of the older ones too.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't sucking everything up. Would get through one floor, have to recharge it, do the second floor. And then it dropped one day. And the whole housing
all
cracked.
fell apart. Yeah, the back part of it. Like where the filter
oh yeah,
is?
that yes, just around the filter,
Yeah.
the bubbly design part.
Yeah.
And now it won't suck up anything because it's leaking air.
Oh,
right?
Alicia did call when that happened. We called Dyson and they wouldn't send a new small little piece of plastic. That added to my
They
frustration.
wouldn't send it for free.
I don't know. I wasn't involved in the conversation, but probably.
Because can you buy replacement parts?
I don't know. But it was early on.
You should go to the vacuum store.
Whereas companies like Weber, we have Weber stuff. They are so good. Like, I had a thermometer, an instant read one that flipped out, and it just, after a year, more than a year, it just fell apart somehow. I dropped it maybe, and it fell apart. And I called them saying, hey, is this normal? And their response was, no, it shouldn't have happened. They didn't ask for any proof. They sent me a new one that's like Bluetooth and wireless and goes on my phone.
Nice.
Really good.
Customer for life now.
Yep. And they've other barbecue, they super accommodating. And I was going to say, though, I won't be able to find it quickly, but regarding swapping the battery out, I bought a thing on Amazon for my Makita batteries, and it just has 2 wires, so you can hook up to anything.
Oh, I see.
So we used to have a motorized kids motorcycle thing, like a play one, right? That's slow and boring, but the kids enjoy it for outside.
It's not slow and boring to the kids.
Well, it is compared to when I hooked up my own battery. So I took out the battery that came with it. I spliced the wires, put this little $30 Amazon
I
adapter,
remember that because I saw your daughter just whizzing by at like 40 kilometers an hour.
She was doing wheelies. I'll send the video so that
and this little
Flo
kid's
can
bike is
add
going.
Yeah. She's pulled the
Hair's
whatever the
blowing in
throttle
the
and she was
wind.
like, the wheel came up off the ground. She had to stop. It was cool.
The wheel came off.
No, came up off the ground.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways.
Daughters in the hospital had this happen. Dad hooked up this massive battery
Yeah.
to my little motorcycle.
I don't know how we could tie this back to coach houses, or how we got off topic. I think the whole point was you can't worry about who's in there.
What other areas around Toronto, like it's in the GTA or in Hamilton or wherever, where else are
Guelph.
you allowed to do it?
Guelph.
You are allowed to do that in Guelph?
Yeah.
Like the
About
same concept?
Yep. 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't know how much they push it. But
yeah, not very much because I haven't.
I think you knew about it. We talked about it back
I
then.
think so. I forgot about it.
There's not many.
Probably
There's maybe 3 or 4 municipalities. I don't remember the other ones.
Yeah. In Toronto, it makes sense because, you're looking for options to.
Yeah. Any city that's starting to reach capacity for land usage.
Yeah. And if you're a renter and you don't want to live in a condo building, it's so limited right now.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I bet you there will be a lot of listings now that are pushing that. Like people will list their property and say, hey, you can build a garden villa here.
Well, we'll have a listing coming up in Puslinch later this year, and it's actually like a separate cabin, a 2-story cabin in the woods that they rent out on Airbnb.
Good thing you don't write our MLS listing descriptions.
Yeah.
Cabin in the woods.
Cabin in the woods. Yeah, we could make that creepy. Maybe perhaps it will be around Halloween. We could do something with that.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know that it would, maybe, if it would be good for promoting the property. It would give some exposure. Ian's excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are my thoughts.
Keep an eye on it. Nice chatting with you.
Good day. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any opinions on the matter, drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. We drop a new episode every Monday morning, 6 a.m.